Chosen one, there's someone walking toward you right now who doesn't even know your name yet, but their soul has been searching for yours across time, across distance, across every disappointment that tried to convince you that divine connections don't exist. Stop scrolling and listen to me. You didn't stumble upon this message by accident. Your spirit is being prepared for a meeting that will shift everything you thought you knew about timing, purpose, and the way God moves in relationships. What if I told you that every failed connection, every lonely season, every moment you wondered if you'd ever find your person was actually heaven, clearing the path for this one divine appointment? What are you risking if you miss the signs when they arrive? You are not here by accident. What's coming in this message will prepare you to recognize the moment your life changes. But first, here's what most people don't understand about divine appointments. They don't feel like what you expect. They feel like coming home to a place you've never been. Take the first step right now. Press the like button if you're ready to receive what heaven is speaking. Your action amplifies this word and helps it reach more of God's chosen across the world. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to prepare your heart, and why this meeting is happening now. The signs are already appearing in your life, but you need spiritual eyes to see them. This isn't about finding someone. This is about recognizing the soul that God has been preparing to walk alongside yours. Share one thing you need prayer for today in the comments, and then take a moment to lift someone else up with words of encouragement. Faith grows stronger when we stand together. Share your need, lift someone else up, and watch how God moves in all our lives. Comment 333. If you know this word was for you, and today you say yes to your divine destiny. And to our cherished members, your support is a seed of love. May the Lord water it with peace, purpose, and powerful answers to prayer. It's a feeling that settles deep in the bones for so many of us, that raw, persistent ache of waiting, that quiet bewilderment that asks, why did that door have to slam shut so abruptly? Why, after pouring so much of my heart into it, did it all fall apart? Was there something inherently wrong with me? Why has it taken so incredibly long for things to shift, for a new season to dawn? These aren't just fleeting thoughts. They're natural, vulnerable questions, the internal whispers of doubt that so often creep in when we find ourselves standing bewildered in a season of perceived delay, a long, quiet stretch of life where nothing seems to move forward. But what if that ache, that waiting, that seeming emptiness wasn't a punishment at all? What if in God's magnificent, sovereign plan, it was actually a profound, compassionate act of preparation? Think about it with an open heart. Sometimes, those relationships or partnerships we clung to so desperately, the ones we convinced ourselves just had to be the answer to every prayer, were in reality, gently or sometimes not so gently, dimming the unique, vibrant light God had placed so tenderly inside you. They might have subtly pulled you away from the very core of your being, from the vibrant purpose that was meant to burn brightly within you. Perhaps they unknowingly fed those old insecurities, whispering doubts you thought you'd overcome, instead of affirming your true calling, your inherent worth, and the beautiful unfolding destiny God has etched into your spirit. It's nearly impossible to grasp this in the moment, isn't it? When you're in the thick of it, feeling the sharp sting of rejection, the dull ache of disappointment, or the relentless frustration of things just not moving forward. It's like trying to navigate a dense fog that presses in from all sides. You can only see a few feet in front of you, shrouded in uncertainty and emotion, unable to perceive the path ahead or behind. But heaven, on the other hand, sees the entire landscape, the full journey from beginning to end, from the mountain peaks to the deepest valleys. God's perspective isn't limited by our current circumstances, our past hurts, or the tears we've shed. He sees the bigger picture, the intricate, breathtaking tapestry He's patiently weaving for your life, thread by intentional thread. So those delays you've experienced, the doors that closed with such a resounding, undeniable finality, they weren't arbitrary detours leading you off track into some forgotten wilderness. No, beloved one, They were divine protection, guiding you with an unseen hand, away from paths that would have led to less than God's absolute best for you. They were sovereign acts, creating sacred space within your life and spirit for something far more beautiful, more authentic, and perfectly aligned with His highest will. It's much like when a master builder sets out to create a truly magnificent, enduring house. Sometimes you first have to painstakingly tear down an old, unstable, or even dilapidated structure that occupied the very space where the new foundation needs to be laid. It hurts to let go, to witness the demolition of what once was, but it is an utterly essential, non-negotiable step for what is truly coming next, for the glorious new beginning that awaits. One of the biggest surprises, and frankly, what so often throws most of us off our carefully imagined expectations, is this simple truth. When destiny finally, truly arrives, it rarely looks like something pulled directly from the pages of a heroic movie script or a grand, dramatic romance novel. We've been conditioned to expect a grand entrance, a blinding sign from the heavens, or a perfectly packaged person who meticulously checks every single box on our mental list, fulfilling every superficial or logical criterion we've carefully compiled. But in reality, when God orchestrates a divine appointment, it's usually much more subtle, much quieter, almost like a gentle whisper on the wind. It might be a person who feels strangely familiar, even if you've literally just met them, as if you've known them for ages in some deep, unspoken, soul-level way. It's an echo in your spirit, a soft, undeniable resonance that bypasses the logical mind and simply says, pay attention, lean in, this connection is different. And Deem, this isn't about fireworks or instant infatuation, it's about a profound sense of recognition, a quiet knowing that settles deep within your heart, a spiritual confirmation that transcends superficial appearances or fleeting emotions. Consider for a moment the beautiful, unassuming story of Ruth and Boaz. When Ruth was gleaning in his field that morning, diligently gathering the leftovers of the harvest, she certainly wasn't thinking, "This man, Boaz, is my future husband, the one who will redeem my family line and secure my legacy." She was simply showing up day after day, doing the ordinary, humble work of survival, driven by fierce loyalty to her mother-in-law, Naomi. And Boaz, for his part, wasn't actively looking for a wife. He was just managing his harvest, overseeing his workers with integrity and compassion. Their destiny was woven into their daily obedience, their faithfulness in the mundane. Or reflect on the extraordinary friendship between David and Jonathan. The day they met, David was just a young shepherd, freshly anointed by God and having just accomplished the unthinkable feat of defeating a giant, while Jonathan was a prince, heir to the throne. No one, not in a million years, would have predicted the immediate, deep and utterly loyal soul tie that formed between them. A covenant of friendship that ran deeper than family ties, deeper than political ambition, deeper even than self-preservation. They were just living their lives, serving in their respective roles, moving through fields and palaces and battle lines. But what marked those encounters wasn't some flashy, heroic display or a dramatic pronouncement. It was a resonance, an undeniable knowing inside their spirits that said, with quiet conviction, "This connection is different. This person is meant to be in my life." It was a divine recognition, a Holy Spirit-inspired alignment that transcended human understanding. God is never, ever random with your precious heart. He doesn't just toss people into your path haphazardly like scattered seeds in the wind. Every divine connection, whether it's a profound friendship that anchors your soul, a mentorship that illuminates your path, or a romantic partnership that elevates your spirit, is deeply intentional, meticulously designed by Him with your absolute best interest and His perfect, loving plan in mind. He weaves these relationships into your story with incredible care, like an artist crafting a masterpiece, each thread a deliberate choice, contributing to the richness and strength of the whole. Sometimes, the most profound breakthroughs we experience, the answers to our deepest questions, aren't found by frantically searching for all the external answers out there, consuming every piece of information or chasing every fleeting trend. Instead, they come when we learn the sacred art of quieting ourselves, of settling our restless spirits, and simply sitting in the presence of revelation. It's a powerful, liberating shift from outward seeking to a deep, inward listening. If that idea truly resonates with you, if you feel that quiet stirring in your spirit that there's more to understand, a deeper wisdom waiting to be unlocked, then the 10 hidden truths of Jesus' parables is truly your next step, a divine invitation. It's a powerful, concise ebook that really unpacks practical, spirit-led truths about things that impact our everyday lives. Profound insights into managing our resources, experiencing true healing, and gaining emotional clarity that cuts through the fog of confusion. It's about seeing the profound, the miraculous, the world shifting in the simple, the ordinary, the overlooked, just as Jesus so masterfully taught. You can find the link right there in the first comment below this video. But just a gentle heads up, it's only available for a limited time, a brief window of opportunity, so grab it while you can. Now, it's incredibly easy, almost second nature, to fall into the subtle trap of thinking you're just passively waiting for someone else to show up, for life to magically happen to you, for circumstances to align without any effort on your part. But here's the liberating truth. The first crucial step is always unequivocally yours. It always begins with you. So let's start here, in this very moment. Begin to loosen your grip, just a little, on those deeply ingrained preconceived ideas you have. You know the ones. That mental checklist, sometimes written, often unwritten, of what perfect love, a soul-affirming friendship, or even a truly impactful mentor should look like. We all carry them, these perfectly constructed images and ideal scenarios meticulously built in our minds, shaped by past experiences, societal norms, or even fairy tale fantasies. But here's the beautiful paradox. Often God's divine appointments, His perfect matches for your life, don't fit neatly or predictably into our pre-designed boxes. Think back, honestly, to those relationships that felt like constant uphill battles, like you were perpetually trying to force them to work, pushing a square peg into a round hole, exhausting yourself in the process. Those experiences, as painful, frustrating, or even devastating as they might have been in the moment, weren't ultimately about disappointment or failure. No, beloved one, they were teaching you something incredibly invaluable, something that will serve you profoundly for the rest of your life. Discernment. They were sharpening your spiritual ability to recognize what truly, authentically aligns with your spirit and what, despite all your efforts, simply doesn't. You're learning to trust that gentle nudging in your gut, that inner knowing, to understand the profound difference between what's forced, what feels strained and unnatural, and what flows with divine ease, grace, and effortless alignment. You are being calibrated, your internal compass refined. And in just a moment, we're going to delve into a specific kind of interruption that can actually be the clearest, most undeniable sign of divine alignment, a moment when heaven breaks through your routine. Next, I really want to encourage you to practice something truly liberating, something that will set your spirit free, radical honesty with God. And when I say radical, I mean it with every fiber of my being. Don't just tell him what you think he wants to hear, the polished, spiritualized version of your heart. Instead, tell him what you truly desire, the deepest, most tender longings of your heart, even the ones that feel a little silly, a little childish, or far too big, too audacious to even ask for out loud. And just as importantly, tell him what you fear. Don't try to hide the gnawing ache, the lingering disappointment, the quiet despair, or the profound anxiety that might be lurking just beneath the surface, hidden behind a brave smile. Speak it all out. There's such immense power, such transformative liberation in bringing those most vulnerable, most unedited parts of yourself into the brilliant light of God's presence. Remember Hannah in the Bible? Her story is a poignant testament to this radical honesty. She was barren, heartbroken, relentlessly mocked by her rival, and she didn't try to put on a brave face or offer a perfectly worded, eloquent prayer. Instead, she poured out her very soul to God at the temple, weeping bitterly, speaking directly from the raw, unvarnished pain of her deepest desire and deepest sorrow. 1 Samuel 1:10-16. She didn't try to make her prayer sound impressive or overly spiritual. She simply cried out, gutturally, honestly, desperately. And her vulnerability, her raw, unfiltered honesty, created a sacred space, an open channel for a miracle to land directly into her life. When you strip away the pretense from your prayers, when you come to God as you truly, authentically are, not as you think you should be, not as you believe He expects you to be, you create boundless room for His supernatural intervention, for His divine grace to invade your life. He knows every hidden corner of your heart anyway, every secret longing, every whispered fear. So why not let Him hear it directly from you, unedited, uncensored, and completely beautifully vulnerable? It is in that surrender of control that true intimacy and true miracles reside. Then, this is a truly significant and often overlooked step. Challenge your default settings. We all have them, don't we? These are those automatic thoughts that pop into your mind, the quick, often harsh judgments you make about yourself or others, the old, worn-out stories we've told ourselves for so long that they've become indistinguishable from truth. Things like, "Oh, I'm definitely not their type," or "It's far too late for me to find what I'm truly looking for," or that pervasive, classic, and completely untrue narrative, "All the good ones are gone." These aren't just innocent passing thoughts. These are strongholds in your mind, deeply entrenched patterns of thinking that have been fortified over years of repetition and belief. They're like mental prisons, with thick, unyielding walls built brick by brick around your limiting beliefs, effectively keeping you stuck in old, unhelpful patterns, preventing you from stepping into the fullness of God's plan. But here's the powerful, liberating truth that shatters those walls. Every stronghold, every mental prison, every limiting belief is meant to be broken. Think about the Israelites. They were physically free from the brutal slavery in Egypt. They had walked through the Red Sea on dry ground, witnessed countless miracles, yet they almost missed the glorious Promised Land because their minds were still shackled to the bondage they had known for generations. They carried the mindset of slaves, a pervasive victim mentality, even when they were physically free to walk into their destiny, to claim their inheritance. You simply cannot build a new, healthy, divine connection on the crumbling, unstable foundation of old bondage, on those limiting beliefs that relentlessly tell you you're not worthy, or that it's impossible, or that you're destined to be alone. It's time, beloved one, to consciously dismantle those strongholds, brick by painstaking brick, by recognizing them for the lies they are and actively, deliberately replacing them with God's unwavering truth about who you are, whose you are, and what He has lovingly purposed for you. 2 Corinthians 10:4-5. This is an active battle for your mind, a declaration of freedom. Another absolutely critical piece, one that requires a willingness to step outside your comfort zone, is to stay disruptible. This means actively welcoming holy interruptions into your carefully constructed routine, being authentically open to things that don't fit neatly into your meticulously planned day, your predictable schedule. Sometimes, the very conversation you almost avoid because you're busy, or the unexpected invitation you nearly ignore because it seems inconvenient, too challenging, or just outside your familiar comfort zone. That's precisely where heaven is whispering to you, where God is orchestrating a divine encounter. God often works through the unexpected, through those subtle little nudges, those quiet promptings, and those divine coincidences that seem random to the logical mind, but are actually perfectly orchestrated pieces of His grand design. It could be as simple as taking a different route to work one morning, striking up a genuine conversation with a stranger in line at the coffee shop, or saying a courageous yes to an event you normally wouldn't attend. Being disruptible means cultivating a spirit of flexibility, an open-handed posture, and a willingness to step outside your usual patterns, because that's often precisely where the new connections, the divine appointments, are patiently waiting to unfold. It's a posture of readiness, of expectant faith. In just a moment, we're going to bravely face that hidden resistance that often keeps us from risking our hearts again, from truly embracing these precious, spirit-led opportunities. And please, this is so vital for your peace and progress. Refuse to compete or compare yourself to anyone else, to anyone's journey, to anyone's seemingly perfect highlight reel. It's such an insidious, draining trap, isn't it? Seeing someone else's success, their happiness, their blossoming relationships, and feeling that familiar pang, that internal whisper, why them and not me? Or feeling an overwhelming pressure that you have to somehow prove your worth, your deservingness. But here's the unshakable truth. What's appointed specifically and uniquely to you cannot, under any circumstance, be stolen, diverted, or claimed by anyone else. Your unique path, your bespoke blessings, your divine connections, they are intrinsically yours, hand-picked, custom-designed, and perfectly timed by God for your life. Think about Joseph's story, a powerful testament to this truth. His own brothers, driven by jealousy and envy, certainly tried everything in their power to steal his destiny. They threw him into a desolate pit, sold him into brutal slavery, tried to erase him, to get rid of him entirely. But what God purposes, He faithfully preserves, even in the darkest, most hopeless pit, even in the confines of a lonely prison cell. Genesis 37:39-50. His divine plan for Joseph prevailed, triumphing despite every human effort to thwart it, despite every act of betrayal and injustice. You, beloved one, are in your own sacred lane, on your own divinely appointed journey, and God's faithfulness to you is unwavering, steadfast, and utterly unbreakable. Trust with every fiber of your being that what is for you will not, cannot pass you by. Your focus should be wholeheartedly on your own unique journey, on cultivating your own garden, not on anxiously comparing your progress or your blessings to someone else's carefully curated social media feed. Your journey is uniquely beautiful, uniquely designed, and uniquely unfolding at the perfect pace of divine timing. Now, here comes a part that most people completely overlook, often dismissively, and yet it is an absolute game changer, a powerful key to unlocking divine connections. Make tangible, physical, emotional, and spiritual room in your life before the person or the connection even arrives. This isn't just about passively wishing for something to appear. It's about actively, faithfully preparing for its arrival, demonstrating your belief in its manifestation. Prepare your faith by truly, deeply believing, with every fiber of your being, that God is going to bring this specific divine connection into your life. Begin to speak it, to visualize it, to walk in the confident expectation of it. Then honestly prepare your schedule. Are you so overbooked, so frantically busy, so stretched thin that you literally wouldn't have the time, the margin, the emotional bandwidth for a new significant relationship, be it a deep friendship, a profound mentorship, or a life-altering romantic partner? Creating space in your calendar is an act of faith, and prepare your environment. This might mean physically decluttering your home, making literal room in your living space, but it extends far beyond that. It means consciously decluttering your emotional and spiritual space. It's about bravely letting go of old baggage, lingering resentments, the heavy weight of bitterness, or the suffocating grip of past hurts that would inevitably prevent you from fully and freely embracing a new, healthy, and spirit-led connection. Remember the prophet Elisha. When Elijah, his mentor, called him to follow, Elisha's response was immediate and radical. He promptly burned his plows. 1 Kings 19:21. He didn't leave a backup plan, a safe escape route, a way to easily go back to his old life, his old identity. He made an irreversible, fiery commitment to his new calling. If you truly, deeply, genuinely want to meet your destiny connection, if you are truly ready to step into that new season, you need to create actual, tangible space for it to enter and flourish in your life. What are the plows you need to bravely burn? What are the comfort zones, the safety nets, the familiar but limiting habits that are secretly keeping you from fully stepping into what's next, from embracing the new thing God is doing? This is about radical surrender and courageous expectation. Crucially, identify your primary assignment in this current season of your life and throw yourself into it, joyfully, faithfully, with all your heart, mind, and spirit. This assignment might not be some grand, globally significant mission. It could be your current job, a passion-driven creative project, serving wholeheartedly in your local community, diligently raising your children, or simply working deeply on your personal growth and inner healing. It's whatever God has lovingly given you to do right now, faithfully utilizing the resources, talents, and opportunities you currently possess. Here's why this is so profoundly important. Destiny connections, the truly impactful ones, often find you on assignment, actively engaged in your purpose, not hiding away, passively waiting for life to begin. They find you when you are actively living out your purpose, radiating the unique light of what God has called you to do, authentically embodying the person He created you to be. Think of Queen Esther. Her divine favor, her elevated position, didn't find her in obscurity, quietly sitting at home, hoping to be noticed. It found her when she was placed in a specific, challenging, and divinely appointed situation, when she was obedient to Mordecai's wise guidance, and when she bravely stepped into her royal assignment, risking her life to save her people. Esther 4:14. Her beauty opened the door, but her purpose defined her reign. Your purpose isn't just about you. It's a beacon, a magnet, a lighthouse. It's what intrinsically guides others to you, drawing in those who are truly meant to be part of your journey. People who resonate with the unique calling, the anointing, and the very spirit on your life. When you are fully engaged in your assignment, when you are faithfully stewarding what God has given you, you become magnetic, radiating an authentic pull that attracts divine alignment. As these sacred connections begin to subtly surface in your life, be super alert, exquisitely discerning for a potential mismatch between what your logical mind thought you wanted and what your soul, your deepest spiritual knowing, actually recognizes. Our brains, conditioned by past experiences, societal expectations, or even superficial preferences, often have a very specific, detailed checklist for what an ideal partner, friend, or mentor should embody. But sometimes, when you meet a truly divine connection, one that God Himself has orchestrated, your spirit will leap, your soul will sing, even if your mind is still trying to logically process it, to categorize it, or even to subtly resist it because it doesn't fit your preconceived notions. It's like an undeniable inner confirmation, a profound yes that bypasses all the logical checkboxes and superficial criteria. Remember the incredible, beautiful moment when Mary, pregnant with Jesus, visited her cousin Elizabeth, who was pregnant with John the Baptist. The Bible says that when Elizabeth heard Mary's greeting, the baby in her womb leaped for joy. Luke 1:41-44. John, still nestled in the womb, recognized the very presence of Jesus through the Holy Spirit, a pure, unadulterated knowing beyond reason. It's a powerful, tangible picture of spirit-to-spirit recognition, a pure, undeniable knowing that is rooted in the divine. Learn to trust that deep signal in your spirit, that inner yes, that quiet surge of recognition, even when it might contradict your carefully constructed checklist or challenge your long-held preferences. God's ways are always higher than our ways, His thoughts far beyond our limited understanding, and His choices for us are always exquisitely, perfectly tailored. Now this takes real courage, a willingness to be vulnerable and to examine your deepest motivations, but it's so utterly necessary for true liberation. Allow God, in His tender mercy, to confront the fear that might be subtly lurking beneath your very real hope. Are you truly longing for a divine connection rooted in unshakable trust, in God's perfect provision, in His impeccable timing, in His unwavering goodness? Or is your longing, perhaps, rooted in a deep-seated, often unspoken fear of being alone, of facing life's journey without a companion, without a reflection? It's a subtle but profoundly crucial difference, a distinction that shapes your choices. If it's the latter, if fear is the driving force, you might find yourself unconsciously settling for connections that aren't truly God-ordained, just to avoid the perceived pain of loneliness, sacrificing divine alignment for immediate comfort. Divine appointments, the truly transformative ones, require courageous vulnerability. They demand a profound willingness to show up as your fullest, truest self, not a carefully curated version, not a mask you wear to impress or protect, but all of you, flaws, scars, dreams, and all. You simply cannot be truly known, deeply cherished, or profoundly connected if you are not willing to be truly seen in all your glorious authenticity. This means bravely risking your heart again, being open to the very real possibility of hurt, knowing that true intimacy, true soul-level connection demands authenticity, and authenticity carries an inherent risk. It's a leap of faith, an act of courageous trust in a God who always catches you. And here's an unexpected truth that might at first challenge your comfortable narrative, your pleasant expectations of divine connections. Sometimes, paradoxically, divine connections come disguised as confrontation. It's not always warm hugs, easy agreement, and comfortable affirmation. The ancient wisdom of the Bible tells us, with profound insight, that iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. Proverbs 27:17. This means that a relationship sent by heaven, specifically designed for your growth and refinement, may very well provoke you, stretch you beyond your perceived limits, and challenge the very narratives, the comfortable assumptions that have kept you stagnant, perhaps even stuck, for too long. This isn't about unhealthy conflict, abuse, or destructive criticism, but about healthy growth, loving correction, and spiritual maturation. It might manifest as a wise mentor who gently but firmly pushes you out of your comfort zone, seeing potential you haven't yet dared to claim. It could be a true friend who lovingly calls you out on a blind spot you refuse to acknowledge, speaking truth in a way no one else dares. Or it might be a partner who challenges you to grow in areas you've consciously or unconsciously resisted, areas of character or spiritual discipline. Don't run from this kind of refinement, this healthy friction, because that's precisely where real, lasting growth, true resilience, and profound strength are forged. Like precious metal in the fire, it's through that healthy, intentional friction that you become stronger, sharper, more aligned with the magnificent person God intricately created you to be. Embrace the process even, especially when it feels a little uncomfortable, a little raw. As you navigate these new possibilities, as you discern the whispers and nudges of the Spirit, let yourself be consistently led by a deep sense of peace over your personal preferences. Our preferences, bless their hearts, are often based on our limited understanding, our past experiences, or even superficial desires that only scratch the surface of our true needs. But the Holy Spirit's whisper, that gentle, guiding voice within, often gracefully contradicts our logic, leading us down paths we never would have chosen on our own, paths that defy our carefully constructed plans. That profound sense of rightness, that divine alignment, won't always match your meticulously constructed checklist or your preconceived notions of what things should look like. But it will consistently carry a supernatural ease, an undeniable inner calm, an anchor of serenity even in the midst of external uncertainty or emotional challenges. It's a deep, unshakable knowing that this is precisely where you're meant to be, a profound sense of alignment that transcends logical reasoning or circumstantial evidence. You might still be walking through a season of questions, grappling with some emotional turbulence, but beneath it all, there will be a bedrock of peace, a quiet assurance that tells your spirit, this is right, this is God. Trust that inner compass, that divine navigation system that God has so lovingly placed within you. This is the moment, beloved one, right now, to release every single arbitrary timeline you've set for yourself. We place so much unnecessary pressure on ourselves, don't we? I have to be married by this age, or I need to find this connection, this breakthrough, this new season by then. We become obsessed with our own self-imposed deadlines, and when they aren't met, we fall into disappointment and self-blame. But the timing of God is never, ever delayed. It's always perfectly orchestrated, like a master craftsman at work, meticulously measuring and planning. If it happened sooner, if that connection had arrived before its appointed time, you might have missed a crucial lesson you needed to learn, a vital character trait you needed to develop, a deeper level of healing you needed to experience. And if it happens later, it might mean you miss the optimal season of opportunity for that connection to truly flourish, to grow into its fullest potential. God is the master conductor of your life's magnificent symphony. Every pause, every quiet rest, every dramatic crescendo, every entrance of a new instrument or a new person is perfectly timed for your ultimate good, for the most harmonious unfolding of your destiny. Trust with every fiber of your being that heaven is never, ever late. His timing is impeccable, divine precision, even when it doesn't align with our impatient desires, our human need for immediate gratification. So before you lay your head down tonight, before you drift off to sleep, I want to encourage you to do something very specific, something truly powerful. Ask God for spiritual eyes to recognize the connection when it truly comes into your life. Ask Him to make it unequivocally clear, to illuminate the subtle signs, to help you see beyond the superficial and into the profound, into the divine truth of what He is bringing forth. And then, tomorrow, take just one small, practical, obedient step toward openness, toward readiness. It could be sending a text to someone you've been thinking of, a gentle nudge of the Spirit. It could be striking up a genuine conversation with someone new at your coffee shop, daring to engage. Or it could simply be offering a sincere prayer of gratitude for the journey you're on, trusting that every step is purposeful. Your breakthrough, your divine connection, rarely starts with fireworks, dramatic declarations, or earth-shattering events. More often than not, it begins with quiet obedience, one small, faithful step at a time, trusting God with each tiny move forward, each gentle whisper, each subtle shift. If you feel this stirring in your spirit, this deep resonance with what we've talked about today, don't just watch this video and move on. Please, with a generous heart, share this message with someone you know, someone in your life who desperately needs hope right now, who feels lost in the fog of waiting. Your simple act of faith, of passing along this encouragement, could be the very spark that illuminates their path, that opens their door too. We're all in this together, fellow travelers on a divine journey. And tonight, as you close your day, breathe this powerful, liberating prayer deep into your soul, letting it transform your heart. God, I refuse to settle for less than what you have promised for my life. I release my timelines and my preconceived ideas, and I surrender them to you. Prepare me, Lord, for this divine meeting, for this new connection you have so lovingly ordained for me, and prepare them for me too. I say a resounding yes to the unexpected, to your perfect divine timing, and to the new, beautiful thing you are doing in my life. Amen.